if you are Yahudi, okay, naturally you are also an Israelite because that's who your father was, Israel. Every Yahudi is an Israelite, but every Israelite is not Yahudi, meaning Yahudah is just one of 12 tribes. Some of them are from the tribe of Reuben. Some are from the tribe of Levi. Some are from the tribe of Asher, so forth and so on. Okay? So you get to Yahudi, but now this literally refers to, again, those who come from this particular tribe, descended from Yahudah himself, or on a larger scale, from the house of Judah, after the division of the nation. But spiritually speaking now, a Yahudi is simply any human being who praises the Creator of the heavens and the earth. And I also want to interject, according to his will. All right? So now we have these different terms here. Now, all of these simply follow a particular direction so that we can be focused on who to look for in regards to these last days and times, and who the people of the Most High will be bearing his word. Okay? But we're not done. We're going to take a look at a few other things. So now, let's go to 2 Kings chapter 17 and verse 6. Now, as was mentioned, let me get you more prepared for this. The house of Israel, and you have the house of Judah. Okay? This is the division of the people. You have the 10, and you have the 2 tribes. Okay? So what takes place? Now, in 2 Kings 17, verse 6, it states, in the 9th year of Hushah, the king of Assyria. Now, we looked at Assyria earlier, and we've seen that Assyria is one of the descendants of Shem, which means they are Semites or Semitic. The king of Assyria took Samaria and carried Israel away into Assyria, and placed them in Halah and in Habor by the river of Gozan and in the cities of the Medes. So this is the Assyrian captivity that occurred with the house of Israel. Let's go to the 18th chapter of 2 Kings. Verse 9. And it came to pass in the 4th year of King Hezekiah, which was the 7th year of Hushah, son of Elah, king of Israel, that Shalmaneser, king of Assyria, came up against Samaria and besieged it. And at the end of 3 years they took it, even in the 6th year of Hezekiah. That is the 9th year of Hushah, king of Israel. Samaria was taken, and the king of Assyria did carry away Israel unto Assyria, and put them in Halah and in Habor by the river of Gozan and in the cities of the Medes. Now keep in mind the cities of the Medes, because at some point you're going to have the succession of world-ruling kingdoms. Okay? One of these world-ruling kingdoms just so happens to be the Medians and the Persians. Keep those things in mind. Okay? For a later date, of course. Nevertheless, the house of Israel was enslaved by the Assyrians for their disobedience to Yahweh Elohim. They are also recorded in history as the lost tribes of Israel. But here's the question. can a people be lost? Think about it. If they exist in this world, but they exist in maybe a land other than that of their forefathers, are they lost? Or have their identities been lost? In other words, they grew up in all of these other places, and because they were separated from their culture, they grew up, some of them, believing they were a part of the group of people they dwelled among. This is one of the things that took place, which brings about now the lost tribes. Okay? Keep those things in mind. Now, let's go to 2 Kings chapter 24, verse 10. I'll put this up here. Okay, 2 Kings 24:10. At that time, the servants of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came up against Jerusalem. Now, when the nations were divided, you had the 10 tribes who dwelt in the land called Samaria, but then you had the 2 tribes who maintained their residence in the land that they were promised, which was Israel or Jerusalem. It says here, King of Babylon came up against Jerusalem, and the city was besieged. And Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came against the city, and his servants did besiege it. And you go down to the 14th verse, which states, and he carried away all Jerusalem, and all the princes, and all the mighty men of valor, even 10,000 captives, and all the craftsmen and smiths, none remained, save the poorest sort of the people of the land. And he carried away Jehoiakim to Babylon, and the king's mother, and the king's wives, and his officers, and the mighty of the land. Those carried he into captivity from Jerusalem to Babylon. So, just like the house of Israel, because of their disobedience, the house of Judah also went into captivity. But there's a difference. Let me write this. Okay, so house of Israel went into the Assyrian captivity. House of Judah went into the Babylonian captivity. All of this was the result of disobedience. So now, the difference between the house of Israel and the house of Judah's captivity was that the house of Judah was prophesied to be 70 years long. So let's turn to Jeremiah chapter 25 and verse 11 for verification, which reads, and this whole land shall be a desolation and an astonishment. And these nations shall serve the king of Babylon 70 years. 70 years, okay? Let me put that up there. There's a specified amount of time that they were given. 70 years. Verse 12. And it shall come to pass, when 70 years are accomplished, that I will punish the king of Babylon and that nation, saith the Yahweh, for their iniquity, and the land of the Chaldeans, and will make it perpetual desolations. Okay? Now, let's turn to the book of Ezra, chapter 1, so we can see now the fulfillment of that. This is verse 1. Now, in the first year of Koresh, king of Persia. Okay, now remember, the house of Israel was taken captive by Assyrians who were Semitic. And the Assyrians placed them in a few other cities, one of which were the city of the Medes. So they became engrafted amongst the Medes, some of them. Okay? Now the Medes at one point were conquered by the Persians, and they became a kingdom. That's why you had the Median Persian Empire, which came right after